Here's my list of 9 beginner guitar chords you must know if you want to succeed at guitar playing. Let's get started. I'll put all the chord diagrams for today's exercises up here as we go through each different chord. The first chord we'll be going over today is the E minor chord. So to play this, we only need 2 fingers. So we've got an open E string, second finger on the 2nd fret A string, our third finger on the 2nd fret D string, and then an open G, open B, and open E string. So then all together we've got an E minor. Chord number 2 for today will be E major. This is nearly the same as the E minor, except all we want to do now is add our first finger onto the 1st fret on the G string. So we still have the open E, and then our second finger on the 2nd fret A string, third finger on the 2nd fret D string, and then that first finger, 1st fret G string, open B and open E. Chord number 3 for today will be the A minor chord. For this, all we want to do is keep our fingers where we had them for the E major, and then move all our fingers down 1 string each. With the A minor chord, we don't play the top E, so we'll have an open A string, our second finger on the 2nd fret D string, third finger on the 2nd fret G string, first finger on the 1st fret B string, and then an open E string. And all together. The next chord we're going to learn today is A major. This one can be a little tricky when you start because all our fingers are going to be in the 1 fret, and it's hard to kind of squash them in there, especially if you're an adult. So as with the A minor chord, we don't play the top E string, and so we'll start with an open A string. Then we want our second finger on the 2nd fret on the D string. Our first finger comes into the 2nd fret on the G string, and then our third finger on the 2nd fret B string, and then we have an open E string to finish it off. I've created a little poster for you guys with all 9 chords that we'll be going over today. I'll leave a link in the description below. Now we're going to learn the D major chord. We don't play the low E string or the A string, so we'll be starting on with an open D, and then we want our first finger on the 2nd fret G string, our third finger on the 3rd fret B string, and then our second finger on the 2nd fret E string. We'll now be learning the D minor chord. So we start with the open D again, and then our second finger on the 2nd fret G string, third finger on the 3rd fret B string, and then our first finger goes to the 1st fret on the E string. The 7th chord we're going over today is C major. So for C, we don't play the top E string, and we'll be starting with our third finger on the 3rd fret A string, second finger on the 2nd fret D string, then we have an open G string, and our first finger goes onto the 1st fret B string, and then an open E. This one can be quite tricky, especially if you're just starting. You've really got to kind of move your wrist forward a bit so we don't get any dead notes like that. So moving your wrist forward a little bit will get rid of those dead notes. The second last chord we'll be going over today is G major. We'll be starting with our second finger on the 3rd fret E string, and then our first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then we have a couple of open notes here, so we've got the open D, open G, open B, and then our third finger all the way down on the 3rd fret on the E string. Lastly, we'll be learning the dreaded F chord. We'll be doing the beginner-friendly version of this instead of the bar chord version. So for this one, we don't play the top E or the A strings. We'll be starting with our third finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, and then our second finger, 2nd fret G string, And then what you want to do is play the first fret on the B string and the E string with your first finger. So like this. This can be quite tricky to start with, especially if you haven't started barring or playing multiple notes with one finger before. You can even start by just playing these two notes together until you get them, and then adding the other two fingers. So all together we have this. If you've enjoyed this video and want to check out some cool rock riffs, check out this video over here.